Brown 45. Brown 45. Hot, 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 hot.
Of commercial-free football start now.
Welcome to the Hit Stick. Huh?
You gotta change that quote. It's no
You
longer
do.
commercial free.
Welcome to the Hit Stick podcast, where we don't believe in CTE. Apparently. Here's the deal. Similar to the Minnesota Vikings, Coho was supposed to show up. He was a no-show. He may show up later. Thomas Scully will be dropping in. We are going to talk about Black Monday. A bunch of coaches let go. Some coaches kept. Interesting development. Who should be coached next on certain teams? What's the most favorable job in the NFL? Then we'll break down our playoffs. We'll do our grid 1 through 13 math, wherever you can pick your thing. And no shocker, Andrew Barr will not be on the show tonight. Kastner dealing with illness. Seems like a lot of illness in the Kastner house. I'm just going to say that. Over the course of this football season, they've had a lot of sickness. I hope that clears up in 2025 more than it was in 2024. First up, Mark, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, doing okay. I gotta be honest. I wish this maybe it's not so nice to think this, but I thought this Black Monday would have been a bit blacker. Some surprising guys still have a job. I'll be honest, like they should, but it is what it is. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Nazario,
Yo,
how are you? 49ers not making the playoffs.
I'm excited for 2025. I'm ready. We can just hit forward a couple of months and start all over again. Like, I wish we had won one more fucking game. I think we went out on like a 6-game losing streak. But, sometimes you play like a bitch, you get beat like a bitch. Let's learn and move on.
Yeah. So a few of the firings that happened in the NFL. Mayo got fired an hour after the game. He was the first casualty of the gunshot. He definitely deserved to be fired. There was no question about it. Like, that's just ridiculous. No, not saying he should have been fired. Like, he should have. I don't believe in the firing a coach after 1 year. I think that's just stupid. Because I don't believe you have the time to grow. What he should have been fired for is his actions during this season, where they'd completely lay on the ground and die, and then the next game they try to win and they end up winning. He should have looked to. I understand you can't control all the players, but you can control the plays that are being called and like run the ball more, do something different, change your development, because they lost so much value in that last game. Because they could have traded that number one. They could have traded that number one pick for.
They won 2 games that they should have won.
Yeah, the Bengals game and then that game, but the Bengals were more of the issue. But you can literally have gotten so much draft capital from, because there are teams desperate for things. Dable and GM of the Giants stay. If they can't get fired over this, I don't know what will ever get them fired. That was crazy. The only thing I can see is like Dable never got to pick Jones, so they're giving him a free start. But how much more can you give him? That's another thing. They cost him the number one pick. They're not even going to get a quarterback now. And if they try to get a quarterback, it's going to cost them so much. They're only going to suck next year. They have nothing this upcoming draft that is going to help them to become better. Doug Peterson out at Jacksonville after 3 seasons. That one was the writing was clearly on the wall for a while. We were surprised he got on the plane to London. Like we thought he was going to be fired then. Antonio Pierce, latest firing. He just out after 1.5 seasons in there. If you want some fun, go to the Raiders head coaching positions. They've had 14 head coaches since 2000, and the longest tenure is 3 years. Tells you everything you need to know about that organization. And John Gruden has been hired 3 times.
Dude, like the Raiders, the fun part is like, okay, you fire your head coach, you rally your interim coach, you're gonna give him a shot, fuck him. We're gonna fucking hire Josh McDaniel instead. Okay, we fucked up. We have our interim coach. People are rallying against him. What do? We keep him. He puts this effort. Like, doesn't matter what they do. It's always the wrong choice.
Yeah. I mean, facility wise, city wise, like everything that they should have no problem having a good football team. They just don't have a good football team. It's kind of crazy.
No.
Who else? Did anybody else get canned?
Well, I want to say
the
one thing about the
Bengals-
mayor firing that I don't like, just because you mentioned it. He got the job because he had it in a clause on his contract that he would inherit the team from Belichick, right? That was kind of like a pre-signed agreement thing that he had done before he even became head coach. Firing him this quick after this small of a sample kind of reeks of, we had to do this, but what we wanted to do last year was get Brable. And we had to fucking get you now. Like, fuck you and let's get Brable.
And I don't blame people for wanting Vrabel. Like, at the end of the day, that's the thing. If that was the contingents in the contract, which I never remember hearing that, but if it was, I'm not discrediting. I just didn't remember that. That's fine, but that's why everybody was shocked last year when Vrabel didn't get the New England job. Like, no one thought what? Of course it was Vrabel. So if they're waiting to turn, and Kraft said it best, he needs more time. How he handled the media was fucking terrible this season. It was like the most anti-New England thing that's ever existed, like calling them soft and everything like that. Whatever the case may be. It is what it is. The GM is gone of Tennessee. The defensive coordinator's gone of the Bengals, which was the most obvious firing of all time. Like that dude, I'm surprised lasted the entire season. They didn't even turn over the defensive calling to anybody at anybody could have took it. Like the offensive coordinator from the Seahawks is gone. Which sure. Geno Smith's your quarterback. You have more problems than that. Here's the question on the table.
Why does Trent Baalke have a job?
Huh?
Why does Trent Baalke have a job? That is the question.
Here's the question. Ben Johnson and who's the other defensive coordinator? Glenn. I don't know his first name. Glenn. I'll find it.
Or who? Coordinator?
Both the defensive and offensive coordinators from the Lions, both set to take jobs.
They better win the fucking Super Bowl.
What do you think is the most lucrative head coaching position available right now? Because we can say right now, no playoff team is probably losing their head coach at the end of this year. I would be shocked. I mean, maybe if Tomlin gets blown the doors off, but I still think they keep Tomlin regardless.
Is there a shot DeMeco Ryans is gone?
No.
The injuries, they can just go to that.
Oh, God. He's the only one.
Did he win Coach of the Year last year?
He did, but I mean, we see where they're at now. I mean, it's
they're going to get their doors blown off on.
He shouldn't, because Bill O'Brien. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Bill O'Brien dragging an anemic Texans team to several division championships and like not
Every
get
day,
fired.
every Sunday, every Saturday. They've never played on a Sunday.
It took the worst trade in history to finally get him fired before any of that.
So, what's the most lucrative job? I think the three on the table are Jacksonville, New England, and Chicago. Now, I say that because of what they like, the young, whatever. I think the easy answer is New England. I think New England's by far the easiest answer. The
He
only
had
one you have to contend
quarterback.
with is the Bills. If I was Ben Johnson, I wouldn't fucking sniff the Chicago Bears for multiple reasons of how they've treated people in the past, how all that organization's like cursed. But I would not want to play in the same division I just left against the Detroit Juggernaut, the Lions, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Green Bay Packers. I'm guaranteed to at least have 2 or 3 losing seasons until I change the culture there. New England, Jets are broken. Now you can make the case for Jacksonville, but you have to work with Trevor Lawrence. Like that's your guarantee. You have Trevor Lawrence. Drake May, I think, has shown something. But the one with New England is you have the most cap space available. 130 million in cap space.
Yeah, I think the Patriots is the best choice because you have a solid option with Drake May. He played better than anybody expected the whole season. And yeah, like you said, they have all the options to basically make whatever team he wants to try. And he's getting like the Jets and the Dolphins because the Dolphins are like on a fucking cliff right now. I think the coach gets one more year and then he gets fired because you only have to worry about the Bills. That's the one thing that you're gonna lose 2 games in a year for sure, and then you can just mix around and find out with the rest. You just honestly, I think you just have to like go up front to the crafts and say like, hey, you know what? Give me at least 2 seasons. Like I need time to do something. Like you cannot just show up and like like, be ready to get fired on week 6 or something.
I
I would
mean,
try to negotiate some leeway with that.
though we're going to talk about being in bad divisions, like the AFC South is so much in play.
Yeah.
If you can go into that team and win like 6 more games, you can win that division. Like, do we really think like the Titans, the Colts are going to get like a ton better next year? And
Colts
the
maybe. Titans maybe.
the Texans are such a big wild card at this point. Like we saw Trevor Lawrence be good for a little bit. If you can just like figure,
Win.
like second season,
Eh.
he was solid.
Okay.
And I think you at least have a bit of an offense in Jacksonville right now that you
I
can
think
kind
Ben
of
Johnson would come up with something to help that offense.
Yeah.
But don't you remember they spent all that dumb money? Like Kirk got a stupid contract and like they spent so much on different weird situations that it was just like, what? No, I agree. I think if you're going to want early success, Jacksonville could be the consideration. I just think Chicago's completely off the table.
Oh yeah, no, like none of us are even poking that. Like,
And you have to draft offensive linemen basically in all 6 of your picks to even like redeem any of your qualities. And then you have to sign. There's so many issues with that. And then playing in that old division against just seems crazy.
That's basically like choosing to go
Though,
to the
if
to
if
the
it is
north
like
is
Ben
going
Johnson
to
or one of the
Raiders.
Lions guys, like is there an advantage there of playing the Lions twice a year?
Getting your ass kicked.
No, but like if you're one of the Lions guys,
there's
you were
a
in the
quarterback
building.
coach. There's a quarterback coach or somebody sitting behind Ben just ready to take the reins of that fucking Ferrari. Yeah, he'll probably spin the tires and probably hit a light pole every once in a while, but that motherfucker's gonna probably still have an engine that's gonna get you across the finish line.
I think
I
it's
guess
like
maybe Vegas wouldn't like.
no.
Where are they drafting?
That's what I'm saying. Like going to the Bears is exactly like going to Vegas. You're going to go to the other
No, at least
division
you get
that
to play
has
in a
three
dome and you're
playoff
in
teams.
Sin City.
It's three playoffs teams, man. That's what you want to do for your fucking
Yeah,
debut.
that's true. I didn't think of you're 100% right. Well, um, did you also see that Derek Carr says he refuses to take a pay cut to stay with the Saints? He'll restructure, but he's shown enough on tape to prove why he's worth what he's worth.
I mean, I'm with
Or
fuck
what?
him. Yeah, fuck him. He wants his money. I don't care. Why not?
I know. I thought
I know
you
it's
used
not a
the tape
popular
line.
opinion.
There's enough on tape. Sir, what tape?
The Pro Bowl games 2 years ago.
Fresno
He
State?
that shit.
When you played
I
at
mean,
Fresno?
he was in a different uniform. You like in those tapes, but yeah, like he has plenty of tape.
I don't hate Derek
So the-
Carr, to be honest. I
So
think
the
he's
top two picks
perfectly mid.
The top two picks have been decided. It will be the Tennessee Titans getting the number one pick, followed by the Cleveland Browns. Expected both to take quarterbacks, possibly. At least should both take quarterbacks.
Cleveland should. I don't think
Now,
really would.
will Deion Sanders let his son go play in Cleveland or Tennessee? That will be questioned. I'm curious about how that works. But again, New England also, if we're talking about New England's, they have 130 million in cap space. They can literally go sign T. Higgins and draft like Travis Hunter and still like, be set to go. Like that's kind of disgusting if you think about that, where they both have both of those options.
Is Cleveland decided to, finally cut the rapist?
No, but he had a setback on his Achilles.
Oh,
So it's put 2025 into jeopardy. Can we just admit that Deshaun got the money and says, I'm done with football?
I would appreciate that if it was that upfront. I really don't think.
Never been upfront about
Why
that,
are we
to be
wasting
honest.
time with that man?
Yeah. Also, can we get over this dumb narrative that the Kansas City Chiefs sat all their starters because they didn't want Joe Burrow in the playoffs?
They were afraid of the Bengals.
Joe Burrow hasn't beat the Chiefs in 700 days. What are you talking about? They're three. There's Kansas City's 3-0 against Cincinnati since Burrowhead. Since it was called Burrowhead, they're not scared. Again, now if I'm a playoff team, I do not want the best quarterback in the NFL right now coming in to play because the defense. But again, if I am also wanting to play, I would love Cincinnati because that defense is complete ass. They will literally, it will be 40-40 by the end of the game.
Yeah, but when it's a coin flip, man,
No, I know.
coin flip, you can win or lose it.
What were the Chiefs playing for? They had 15 wins and the division was locked up. Yeah,
And
we're gonna
one
throw
seed.
Chris Jones out there like in the first half because like we want to
Look
keep
at
him.
Zay Flowers.
What the fuck? I mean, come on. Like, what are we?
Zay
like,
Flowers injured, meant nothing. Zay Flowers is now going to be out at least one game because of his knee. Christian Watson gets injured in Green Bay, out for the season, gone. For a meaningless game that meant nothing because they still lost that game at the end of the day and then still had to travel to Philly.
I mean, they won.
Jordan Love gets hurt. Jordan Love got hurt. What?
I mean, I can understand not wanting to play Philly. Like, if there's a chance we can not play
Right,
Philadelphia,
but at the end of the day,
one,
you're
like
fucked,
I
man.
gotta get that.
Yeah, you're fucked at that point.
I'm just gonna say they got 15 wins. Do you guys have heard of the 15-win curse?
Is there a 15 more first?
Look what happens to the teams that win 15 games the season after. Just look some history, and they
The season after?
Yeah, like after they win 15 games, the next season usually a bunch of shit goes wrong. I'm just saying, Google it.
But has the team won 15 games and won the Super Bowl?
Not always. I think
But
the
has it
Vikings won 15 games in '98.
But hasn't happened.
the last example was Carolina, who lost to the Broncos. I think they were the last 15-win team.
Got
Yeah.
completely fucking brutalized in that Super Bowl.
This is when it
When
used
you
to be
get beat
15.
so bad, your
By the way,
defense
this is
gets
when it used to be
the
15 and
MVP.
1. Now it's 15 and 2. So it's I don't know if it's different, but 15 wins used to mean a lot about.
Well, that's next season. It doesn't mean anything about Super Bowl.
So what's going to happen to Detroit next season? I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this conversation.
Yeah.
Like, what-
So okay. So the playoffs have been set. The hold on. We have our heading. We know what everything is going to be. The Chiefs and Lions get the 1 seed. So they will be taking a break. Minnesota completely died on Sunday night.
It's embarrassing.
I'd
Only
still
more
sign
of them
Sam.
pick them.
I still sign Sam Darnold. I do not care. No question about it. Also, I'm not one of these guys that call foul. Holy shit! I don't know if the flag. I don't know if the meeting before the game was let the boys play and fuck the fouls, but if I saw one more jersey pull from the fucking guy that broke his forearm and was out there, I was gonna lose my shit. Like they're like Justin Jefferson can't get any leeway. Yeah, because the dude is on him. Like his shoulder is getting pulled back. Like whatever. Still would have lost. Jahmyr Gibbs gets lit up and then all of a sudden decides to activate psycho mode and gets 4 touchdowns. So and then their defense came alive. They got their guy back, number 39, Alonzo or whatever. He literally calmed the entire defense. They talked about it all night. So they're the 1 seed. Means 14 and 3. Minnesota Vikings have to go on the road for the playoffs. They get no home game, which is crazy. I love that
I mean,
St. Brown was
unless
like,
they get an upset, right? Like,
huh?
if you get a couple of upset,
if somehow the Commanders or the Packers make
I
it to the
fully
NFC
expect the
Championship,
Packers
yeah, okay.
to win. Like for real, I expect the Packers to win. So maybe if they meet the Packers later,
I hope you put a lot of points on that game. I am the complete opposite. Green Bay has sucked against every big level team all year long, and I think
that's
the Eagles
not
are going
right.
to fucking murder them.
They have.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But they had to go on the road. Basically, the whole playoffs. I mean, there is a scenario that they could get out of there. I don't like their chances at fucking all. But the first game, we'll kind of discuss, and then we'll come back around for points and stuff. I don't think I'm. Fucking Scully. But okay, so Scully won't be here either. Still at dinner, his den. Be a man. Be like Mark. Eat here. So we'll talk about the games, and then we'll go back through and pick. But the first game on the slate, could it be any other game? Absolutely not. It's the Houston Texans hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers 5 seed, Houston 4 seed. What do you guys think? I think Houston's terrible. If you want my honest, I think Houston's real bad. I thought Herbert was going to get injured in the last game. They were going that way. He was running, he was ducking, he got hit multiple times. So, what's your guys' take on this game? Do you think it's going to be a good game? Do you think it's going to be close? Thoughts?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be fun because the Chargers are overplaying their hand and the Houston Texans are sucking. So they kind of balanced out. I do think that at least it's going to be entertaining. I don't expect any major significance injury wise. I think it's going to be pretty clean, to be honest. But I do like it as an opening game because it's one of the more even ones to me.
Mark?
Yeah, if I can find it. I was trying to figure out how the Texans offense played last weekend. I don't know. Was it good? Did they look better? I don't know. Anybody watch any of that game?
What game?
Texans
Oh,
what?
The Texans and the Titans last week.
Nobody watched that.
Okay.
It was they didn't they took out Stroud and them pretty early.
Okay, so we learned nothing. All right.
David Mills came in and played.
Okay.
By the way, this was a very shitty ass week 18.
It
Like,
was. It was very bad.
everything was fucking set. So like the good games were on Saturday, and then everything else was just like,
I mean, yeah, I guess I don't. I mean, I feel like this happens almost every year where we think there's a game that's gonna be just kind of shitty and then ends up being kind of good. And I don't know, it could be this one. It's probably not. I mean, the Texans offense looks dead. I don't I don't know where they're gonna get any production out of. Chargers defense still looks fine, at least enough to it at this point probably just make CJ Stroud throw it because that's probably where they'll like that. That's kind of I think how you want to win this game. Like just kind of maybe load the box, let him throw it, make a couple mistakes, or overthrow fucking Mixon and Nico Collins a few times. I don't know. Like I don't know how anybody has any faith in the Texans, and I feel bad for the fans that are going to pay playoff money tickets to go see their team lose at home.
Yeah, 100%. We'll get the. I just think the run stop of the Chargers is basically going to make it neutralize of Houston. I think they're going to be one dimensional and they have nothing on the outside. They're depleted. Basically, that game was it was a rough game overall because like this past game is like they have David Mills. He came in, he didn't really do anything. They got a touchdown right away from Nico Collins and him, but then overall they brought it back and then Pierce, the running Damian Pierce ran for 176 yards and a touchdown against Houston. But I don't think Joe Mixon's going to have enough against that defense, and I think Herbert is playing like the game. Like I think he just is not going to be in a position to lose. I don't think Houston's a home field advantage. I think Houston's a very weak division. Like they played really down. They beat the teams they were supposed to beat to win that division, but they've lost really against good teams. So it may be home field, but I don't think it's going to be long lasting. I think LA's used to playing against in a stadium that even as their own and other people get cheers because LA has no fans whatsoever. They don't care. So how the point system works this year is you get 13 total points. You can put them however you want, 1 to 13. The 1 is your least game. You have to spend all the points. You can't overlap. So Nazario, on this game, how many points are you putting on the either Houston or Los Angeles? I should already Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh is gonna win this game. Yes. I was gonna go like 5-6 points because trying to be a little conservative. But then I read that the Chargers just signed Ezekiel Elliott. So I'm gonna go 8 on the Chargers.
8 points, Mark.
Yeah, I made a decision early on. I'm either going to win it this week or I'm just gonna lose it this week. So we're gonna take the Chargers for 12.
Nice. I'm very similar to Mark in this strategy. I have Los Angeles Chargers for 13. It's my most confident I have of all week. I think if I'm wrong on this one, then that makes sense. But like I've seen Houston play all year round. I see nothing that scares me. I've seen Chargers struggle, but as long as Dobbins is in the starting lineup, they are not the same team. He is literally the key that moves them. Houston's defense does not scare me, and they have no weapons. So at that point, then they started with all the weapons. They've lost them all. So I'm going that. Very next game, we saw it on week 18. No, we saw it week before, I think. But Pittsburgh,
Oh.
the team that we were all like 10-2 or whatever, like who they could go, fell right back down to fucking earth. 10-7 going into literally one of the scariest places right now to play, Baltimore. I have zero confidence in the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point. The only thing that scares me is it's divisional at the end of the day, and I think it maybe closer than it should, but I don't think it will be that close at the end of the day. I think there's just so much weapons on the fucking Ravens. I think they're scary. I think they know how to beat them. They've seen them, and the only time the Pittsburgh beat them earlier this year, but it was by like what 3 points? Like
Two.
it was very close, 2 points. I don't know. It's scary. Zay Flowers is out, so that is a little bit of a difference. They're going to have to rely on Bateman, and I don't even know who their other receiver is. Mark Andrews exists, likely exists. Derrick Henry exists. Lamar Jackson exists.
Not Deontay Johnson anymore though.
Not
But the
Deontay
Steelers-
Johnson.
The
But
Steelers
let's
have
be real.
Mr. Unlimited.
Listen, when you can fake a handoff and the person holding the ball is just as dangerous as the other person that could be holding the ball, that just seems like a long day of football. Just seems like a long day of football, and I don't think the defense of the Steelers, they've shown a lot of cracks over the past 2 weeks. 29 Chiefs put 29 on their heads on Christmas. Bengals put what's the score of the Bengals game? I don't know. But the Bengals put on points. They end up winning that game. So, what do you guys take on this game?
Listen, you may make fun of the Steelers losing the last 4 games, but I will make fun of George Pickens because that man entered that last game with 902 yards, looking at a 1,000-yard season, and he left the game with 899 yards. So yeah, it's a
Who?
fucking mess. George Pickens.
Dude, that dude's a basket case. Like he's a basket case. Like the question is like how much of a headache is like worth it? Dude's crazy. Like dude's unhinged. So Mark, what do you think about this game?
Oh, button is what I was going to say more.
Okay,
Yeah,
what this is.
I mean, you did bring up, I think, the one X factor. If like Pickens plays well, it could be kind of a close game. Like if he does, because we've seen it happen before. But it just, I just the game script for the Ravens just feels so easy, where it's let's just play old 70s football, just run it at them the entire game. When they get tired of it, throw it open like Andrews or Likely or something, or just Bateman can still beat you over the top. That's something he's been pretty good at this season. It just, yeah, and just like the Steelers just look done. Like I really wanted it to be the Steelers' year. I'm not a big Steelers guy, but like they're always good, and I always have respect for teams that are always.
They're
good.
always mid. Let's be real. Like they float around the 500 mark every year. This is what I was making fun of Kastner the other day, and I told him, like, you know what, you're
the
fucked.
playoffs though.
It's 11 wins, man. You're like too high. You're too above. You have to fall down a bit. And then they dropped 4 games in a row. I actually felt bad for the guy.
No, still doesn't make it. They're always competitive. Like I don't think we can take that away from them. It's not gonna happen here. Like it's a division thing, but anything can happen. But I mean, I also feel like it just Lamar is also playing his best football right now, and I think at the very least we'll get at least one pretty good game out of him, at least until possibly the old playoff Lamar shows up.
Play of Lamar.
I think we're set and we're heading directly for a fucking clash of the Titans.
They're winning on Saturday. No, they're losing on Saturday. Sorry.
They're probably losing on Saturday.
I mean,
Yeah,
the season's
they're-
over
I-
Sunday, so they could probably win. You know?
Yeah, and they win on Sunday. No, because they'll be gone on Sunday or Saturday night. Like, you'll have your off season back. All right, Mark, what's your point total for this game?
Let me just make sure. Yeah, I got the Ravens for 11.
Okay. Nazario.
It's gonna be the Ravens. It's gonna be boring. I really wish it would be the Steelers because I keep making fun of the Mr. Unlimited shit and why they don't fucking put Justin Fields in. But I still think they're more entertaining than the Ravens. The Ravens are fucking boring. Ravens for 5.
Okay, I have Baltimore for 11 points as well. I'm pretty like,
Listen,
again, it would be fun if Steelers upset them. It would be really interesting to see.
I will disagree there because any true football fan wants the 2 MVP frontrunners
Oh
to meet
yes,
divisional weekend. Come on.
you're a
Everybody should want that.
We want the Bills versus Ravens. You do not want Bills. You do not want Pittsburgh versus Bills. Like that's not the matchup. We want to see Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry going against fucking Josh Allen and James Cook. Like we want that matchup so bad. Like I'm gonna be. I don't care what I have. If I have work, I'm gonna leave it. It doesn't matter. That day is. I'm glued, and I hope it's better than the last time they met. Because that game was disappointing as fuck. So, all right. Speaking, Josh Allen hosting, and don't worry, I hate that this game is at 12 o'clock. This game needs to be at 7 o'clock with the drunkest fans possible. But don't worry, they'll wake up at 6 a.m. and start the process way earlier than they would. These psychopaths are going to be going through tables, and poor Bo Nix is about to head into one of the most hostile places to play in Buffalo. Broncos, it does not matter what they look like on Sunday. I have zero care what they look like on Sunday. It meant nothing. Everybody's like, look how you played against scrubs. Don't compare yourself. I think arguably this team, I think the Bills, I think Broncos were playing with house money. I think they were 7-10 last year. They went 10-7 this year. There's an improvement. They did look way better. They have a rookie. They have a foundation. They're building something that's great. It's awesome. Imagine if they had Jerry Jeudy. Imagine if they had actually offensive weapons besides Sutton that they could just throw to. And so they traded people away. That's their own choice. I don't blame them because they had to cut payroll and like whatever because they didn't think their year was this year.
I mean, they gave him several years, and I'm like, I don't blame the Broncos one bit for like, yeah.
Look what he did in
you gotta go.
Cleveland. Look what he did in Cleveland.
Gave him 3 years, man. Was it 3 or 4 years? They gave him plenty of.
With what quarterbacks?
What quarterback did he have this year? Like he had still
Exactly.
nobody, and he's still like Jerry
Offensive
played
play
well
calling.
because he
Offensive.
felt.
We're not going to sit here and you're going to say Jacoby Myers in one breath and disrespect Rashad Bateman in another, and then say Jerry Jeudy needs to go. Are you saying with Bo Nix had Sutton and Jeudy this year, do you think it'd be better or worse?
I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know.
That's garbage.
I'm just
That's
saying,
garbage.
Jeudy didn't play fucking well for 3 fucking years. Okay, like they got
All I
tired of
gotta
waiting.
say, all I say is, but I think overall the defense of Detroit. There's a lot of bad defenses in the NFL. I think the Broncos have a good defense. The problem is Broncos are also going against a team like Broncos almost lost a game and had to throw 2 picks. The other team had to throw 2 pick sixes to beat in the Browns. Like He is questionable. I think he's going to be rattled. I think this is a game. I think this is a classic game. If you get behind early, you're never going to catch up. And I think if they get I think they get behind to that classic Buffalo Bills like 10-0, 7, like 14-0. Just they blitz them twice and they're already on the board and they're like shit. And they'll make a comeback in the second half, but overall it will be for nothing. I think Buffalo takes this and runs. But I think Josh Allen just submits himself as like that Hall of Fame, that MVP. That I think the MVP is so close. I really don't know, but he sets up a date for the Bills. What do you guys think on this game? I just think Bo Nix is too green, as they say.
I wish it was the Bengals and the Bills. That would have been fun. Instead, we get this. This is why it's at 12. This is why it's at 12 because everybody knows what is going to happen here. So why are we going to waste a good slot with this fucking piece of trash game? I really have no faith on the Broncos. I don't even think they are like a playoff team by default because nobody else was a bit better. Like even the Dolphins would have been a little more fun, watch them go back to the fucking freezing New York State and get their asses kicked again. That would be more fun. This is just gonna be kind of boring too. So unless like Bo Nix smokes like a joint or something and then just flips out in mid game, I don't know. I don't like this game.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to the Broncos. You guys made it. I mean, like it's been like what 7, 8 years. It's made the playoffs. So good on you. I think there are some people in Denver that are definitely Bo leaving, and you know what? Maybe you should. Playing all right, got a solid team. Peyton's really coaching them up. Yeah, you're playing the Bills. Like even if it somehow is kind of close, Josh Allen is not going to let the Bills lose. They're not gonna lose the first game. They're not gonna lose at home. We're gonna power through this one anyway. I don't think it's gonna even be close. It's easily gonna be the worst game of the weekend. Bill's probably gonna it's the first playoff game where we probably should institute the Madden 21 skunk rule, just because it's just gonna get ugly real fast.
Oh, denied.
Okay.
The Bears secretly.
It's like, God damn, we forgot we sent that email. Shit.
Son of a bitch, you delete.
What the fuck, man?
I agree with the 21 skunk rule. I think that's 100% fact.
I
am Buffalo 12. Nazario.
Yes, Buffalo 13 points.
Yeah, Buffalo 13. Yeah, come on. AFC wildcard this year is very easy.
On wild.
Next game, Green Bay traveling to the link. Rested Philadelphia Eagles against a team that has not beat a top tier team all year long. Struggled every time they've had one. 1-5 in the division, I believe.
Yeah, but the division is the Vikings and the Lions. So
they lost one to the Bears with starters.
That's the last game. It meant nothing. So
They started the starters. If it meant nothing,
they didn't want to play the Eagles. They desperately
want to
play.
Mark, did you watch the game? Because by all accounts, it didn't look like they didn't want to play it looked like they wanted straight to play the Eagles because they played like total asshole. This team is played some of the worst football I have ever seen. They literally To quote Patches O'Houlihan, they're as useful as a poopy flavored lollipop. They were like two trying to hump a doorknob. They couldn't find themselves out of a wet paper bag. They
I mean,
have Bears fans going.
It just didn't
The
show up on
Bears fans are saying we are undefeated in Lambeau Field in 2025. That's disgusting. I thought Coho also skunked that game. They were up, and he said, "Oh, look at that!" And then they were within 2 points, couldn't get the 2-point conversion. They lost their toppers. Lost their giant deep threat, so they have nothing on there. So now they have. I think their receivers are ranked like 37th. Like of the number, like I don't know where the like of their top receivers are 37 of the top receivers. So he's not even top one. Some twos outranked Dobbs and Jennings. So now you're gonna put fucking that secondary of the Eagles against Jordan Love that loves to find the other teams jerseys and throw at least one interception a game. And not to mention AJ Brown and Devontae Smith is on one side, and then they have fucking I don't know this little running back from Penn State known as Saquon fucking Barkley that could have had that 2,000-yard rush that already beat you previous in Brazil. Now you're giving him home field advantage. Stop it. This is over. It doesn't. I don't care how great of a coach Matt LaFleur is. That defense is disgusting. That offense is disgusting. That we are heading for the matchup that I want to watch. Lions, Eagles. Set it up. Lock it in. Call it a weekend. Greatest conference championship I've like. Give me Chiefs, Bills or Ravens versus Eagles Lions for Super Bowl. Let's just make it happen. It's a foregone conclusion. Jordan Love could barely survive against the front seven of the fucking Chicago Bears. Now they have to play Jalen Carter. Stop it. It's going to be gross. This game is not going to be close.
I like my cheese drippy, bro. So I think they'll find a way. Like, yes, they lost to the Lions.
I love the logic.
And they lost to the Vikings. And they actually lost to the Eagles too. But this is the playoffs, man. This is when men become men. And this is when the Eagles fold. I fucking hate them. So fuck the Eagles anyway. I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
Mark, did I say that anything that is probably incorrect?
Probably not.
They lost to the Bucks last season.
This season too.
I do think the Packers are probably going to play better this weekend. I do. I think this is at least going to be a good game.
Sure.
Because Jordan Love has been able to make things work with like Jaden Reed and like Dobbs. Their wide receiver core doesn't look good, like just in general. I think they could still run the ball pretty effectively with Jacobs. Like I think that is gonna definitely be a matchup to watch. Like who's gonna the line of scrimmage battle, this game is gonna be very interesting. So I think at least the Packers can at least give the Eagles some trouble. But I mean, as Cody just outlined pretty well, like the Eagles right now are just such a well-oiled machine. And they didn't lose a game until they decided to lose one. Or really the Commanders. They lost one of the Commanders, yeah. But it was there's everything just seems to be running right now. And I don't think the Packers are that team right now to foil them, even though I think we were kind of saying this last year about the Packers going to the playoffs and they managed to go on a decent run. So I'm not counting anything out. I mean, they almost beat the Niners.
I think Love was
they beat
playing
the Cowboys and then they almost beat the Niners.
Yeah, no. I'm saying I think Love was playing out of his fucking mind last year. He was like the best second half quarterback. He took everybody's by surprise. My thing is, I think this game is going to be like 21-17 or whatever, and then Saquon's going to break one, and it's just that's going to be the game. Like that's where I've decided where
Yeah.
it's going to go.
I agree with that. Like, I think that's also pretty likely too. Like, but yeah. So I could still see the Eagles kind of losing at some point, like in the playoffs. It's not going to be this week though. It just, yeah.
Oh
It's
no,
not,
I
it's
think
not,
they could lose, but what I want is I want Eagles Lions.
it's not super likely though. Like it's not likely.
All right, Nazario, what's your point value? Who you got?
I really want this to happen, but I'm not crazy, so I'm gonna pick the Packers for one.
Mark?
Yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna make sure. Just gonna keep it rolling. Give me the Eagles for 10.
Same. Eagles for 10.
God dang.
Me and Mark are either going to be watching the rest of you guys dance or we're going to be. So, good luck hitting all your other ones. Last two games of the slate, we have. Where did I lose it? We have Washington. Tampa Bay hosting Washington. By the way, we didn't say it. There's a difference between two organizations here. One, you can be the scumbag Dallas Cowboys that couldn't start Cooper Rush to earn him $250,000, which is pocket change, and then to have the audacity after saying, I didn't know about that until it was told to me, and then still not put him in the game. You're a scumbag because you wanted to save yourself $250,000 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that were about to win the game with 36 seconds left, and Mike Evans needing 5 more yards to get $3 million, and they ran a special play to make sure he got that yardage. Two different organizations. One, it's insane. Jerry Jones is an automatic scumbag.
The man went by curtains so his players can't see the ball. What do you expect?
He's a scumbag, is what he is.
There's a picture of the man in a Clans rally. What do you expect?
He's a scumbag. He deserves to have his kneecaps taken. I don't like him at all. Goomba piece of shit. But hats off Todd Bowles and fucking Baker Mayfield. When Irving scored, he's like, shit. Now I'm going to be the asshole. Now he's going to play 11 more seasons. We only get the, and he ends up getting them. And then Todd Bowles goes, I think he owes me $1 million, which is just fun. And he did it missing 3 games. So hats off to the Aggie great, tied with Jerry Rice.
Future first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's actually the only one who have done it for 11 years straight, because Jerry Rice did it for 14 years, but they were never more than 10.
I think he just 10. Tied it. He just tied him with 11.
No, he became the only other one with more than 10, because Jerry Rice had 14 1,000-yard seasons, but he didn't do them like 11 straight.
They said on the broadcast that he tied him for 11 straight.
Yeah.
No, did he?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Check.
And he literally said, "I'm tied with a great."
Yeah.
I hope you find out you're wrong. Bucks hosting Commanders, kind of an awesome game.
11. I thought it was 10 for some reason.
Hello, we're fucking here. We watched the entire run. That's all they talked about the entire game. Right. Hey, by the way, you guys have graphics wrong. Nazario Montenegro, famous 49ers fan, tells you you're wrong. It's only 10. I think this could be a really fun game. I think this might be one of the funnest games of the weekend, because Tampa defense doesn't always look the greatest. Baker always makes questionable decisions, and Jaden Daniels versus Baker Mayfield is kind of a sick matchup to have. I don't like it being in Tampa because I don't like Tampa's fan base. Like, I don't think they're that passionate of the crazy fans. But what is your guys' takes on this game? Am I pumping this game up too much, or you think pretty accurate?
I think it's going to be similar to what happened last year. People expect the showy team to be better, but I think that for some goddamn reason, the Tampa Bay Bucks are at least consistent enough. They have won the division 4 years straight, and they will show up for at least the first game. That is at home. So I think it's going to be a fun game too, but I think some of the rookie mistakes are going to fly with Jaden Daniels. I don't know, man. Yeah, the fans suck. I have a cousin that lives in Tampa, and she never even goes to the games. She says she's a fan, but she doesn't go to the games. She lives there. But
No.
yeah.
One of the best color schemes. They should just bring back the Dreamsicle uniforms, and then they'd be legit. What do you think, Mark?
No, I'm
Thanks.
with you on this. I'm with you on this being a fun game because
The big sombrero.
Like, the Bucks are really on a roll, and I think they've also kind of rejuvenated their offense a bit because Mike Evans still playing really good. They also like Jay McMillan has been playing pretty good.
I was about to say Jake McMillan's catch was crazy.
Yeah, they're still missing Chris Godwin for sure, but I think he at least adds in a solid number 2.
If they had Godwin, I think they could literally contend. They would be high powered.
And they got a good run game right now. Like Bucky Irving's playing pretty good right now. Like is like Rachaad White hurt, or is he gonna play? Like do we know that?
I think he's been punished for some reason. I think they're very New England like they're just like, hey, you sit over here for a while.
Well,
I think Irving just has burst into the front role of the head back. Like I think they just like what he's been able to do.
Either way, Bucky Irving's been playing pretty well, so I like what they're at. And it looked like the Commanders were going into the late year Cliff Kingsbury curse, but they've kind of found their mojo here at the end of the season. So
lost to Dallas, fucking idiots.
Yeah. It could be neat. I think it definitely could be a neat game. I am gonna lean more Tampa Bay on this one because I think they are a more complete team right now, and they do seem to be they're kind of peaking right now here at the end of the season, which is really what you want here. So and they also got
the 3 seed.
Yes.
So it sets up Philly Tampa rematch.
Yes.
If both teams win.
Mm-hmm.
That could be dangerous for Philly. Because Philly lost to them earlier this year. Was that the pass? That Saquon dropped?
Oh, I don't remember.
That's fine.
Let me see. Actually, I think no. Yeah, I think it was.
No.
Yeah. No.
Let
me see. No. Let me.
Tampa won 33-16. Blew the doors off them, basically.
Actually, I think that was the Falcons. I think they did that.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that because they're going to be playing the fucking Packers.
They won't. And I think you just said a slur. So that was really close. I think you said something disrespectful. So watch your mouth. Watch your profanity. We're going to start with Mark. What's your point value?
Yeah, I think mainly because I'm not sure if I'm going to feel as confident later on. They're still going to be pretty high. I'll take the Bucks for 7.
Nazario.
Bucks for 4.
This is my only one that's pretty low this week. I actually have Tampa Bay, but I have Tampa Bay for 3. Just not 100% sold. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think it could go either way. All right, last game, Minnesota going to the Rams. I believe Minnesota I think Rams beat Minnesota this year.
Yep. The
So,
heartbreak bowl for Coho.
oh yes, it was 30-20. This was, and they lost and lost at home. It was early on, um, but yeah, it should be interesting. Fully healthy, rested. Um, I have no idea anymore. I thought going in, I thought Minnesota could run. Minnesota has played questionable. I think if you think Kevin O'Connell's a great head coach, I think Sean McVay is just as good or even better than Kevin O'Connell. I think that's just the facts of the matter. But I don't know how this plays out. What do you guys think?
I don't know what showed up last Sunday night, but if that's the Vikings doing their best to get a bye week, I'm sorry. I have the whole season to me has feel like a mirage. Like they have a bunch of wins, but I never felt like the Vikings actually were very convincing at all. And the fucking Rams are Jekyll and Hyde. Like they show up like world enders one weekend, and then they play the 49ers and scored 7, 9, 12 points or something, and they beat us anyway. So I don't know. Like the Rams were very night and day, but I think the Vikings are more of a like a mirage team for this season. Nobody understands how they got this record. Nobody understands why Darnold hasn't come back to earth and looked like a piece of shit. So I don't know. Like, but I have more faith on the Rams, and I fucking hate them. So I don't know.
Listen, the Vikings somehow pulled off a 14-win win season, which is really impressive. Like, especially like kind of where they're at. We had all definitely threw a shade at Sam Darnold earlier this year. He's looked pretty good. This last game was super weird. I'm not 100% sure where it came from. I was a little curious, and I just kind of looked up their schedule here, which is crazy. They went on a 9-game win streak. Although looking at those 9 games, like which is a bit eye-opening, especially going into the playoffs. Those 9 games were the Colts, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Bears twice, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, Packers. Like that was that 9 straight win schedule. So
They barely beat the Packers.
yeah, it's one of those like I don't. I'm tending to agree with Nazari here a little bit. There probably is a little bit of the Vikings are probably looking better than we think they are. On the other hand, the Rams, like anything could happen with the Rams, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Rams go in to that game, put up like 38 points, like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua drop like 150 on them. Wouldn't shock me. Would not shock me at all. If they go in there, put up 9 points, Stafford throws like 2 picks, like barely goes over $150, again, wouldn't surprise me. Just anything is on the table. I do think at least this home game is going to help the Rams here a little bit. I think there is something a bit scary about the Rams, the fact that they went into Week 18 not caring who they played and then almost winning a game against the Seahawks with their second string out there. They're and also, yeah, like McVay is just he may be the scariest coach out there in the postseason, probably except Andy Reid. He's probably the only other coach like you don't really want to be up against going into a playoff game. So I think also we're gonna get a good game. I think we're gonna get a good game. I think even though I was gonna kind of do it a bit for the laughs, I think I have slightly more faith in the Rams this one. I think this is kind of our one, like, even though it's not a technical upset. I think this is probably one of our true upsets that can happen this weekend.
How is it not a technical upset?
Yeah, technically they are Minnesota's the lower seed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but look at the fucking odds, man.
No. What's the odds?
Let me check.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I think so this is the famous face mask game, right? Sam Journal got ripped in the face mask. Coho lost his mind. They just didn't call it, and then they ended up winning. But they still lost by 10.
I mean, yeah, they didn't. Whatever.
I'm with you.
Minus 1.5.
Huh?
Minus 1.5. Closer than I
Rams?
expected. No, Minnesota. Minus
Minnesota's
1.5.
minus 1.4. That's it. No, that's a pick 'em. That's basically a pick 'em. Like at that point, here's the deal. This is where I've thought about it. I've thought about it for a while. I think the blueprint's out there. Playoffs come down to head coaching, and I'm not saying that Kevin O'Connell is not a great head coach, but I'm 100% with Mark. I think if you gave me if you said pick your head coach for the playoffs, who would you take? If it ain't Andy Reid, it's Sean McVay is one of the people that I would pick 100%. He knows how to scheme. He shut them down once. I'm not saying you can shut them down again, but I'm thinking you have enough weapons and you're getting healthy and you're able to rest. And they literally said, fuck it, it really doesn't matter. We're either playing Tampa, right? Or we're either playing Tampa we're playing Washington, or we're playing Minnesota or Detroit. Either way, we have to be ready for a team, and it's better to be rested than not rested. And that's a balls on the table kind of coach decision. Like, fuck it. We're beating neither of those two teams if you're out injured. So as long as you're healthy, let's just rest you up and let's get a gun to go. And then we'll game plan for whoever we have. And they knew early by that 12 o'clock slate. They're like, oh, Tampa's winning pretty convincingly. We are playing Minnesota or Detroit. Time to go to work, boys. Yeah. So that's it. But again, I think it's gonna be close. I had all my faith in the world last night for Minnesota. They pulled the rug out. I think the Rams are not as good of a defense as them, but I think their offense is just on that level. I think Rams are that one team in the playoffs that no one wants to see across the line. Just don't at this point. Like, I think they have enough experience that could ruin anybody's day on any given Sunday. They beat Josh Allen. They in a complete shootout. They beat Minnesota this year. Like, they're a team that you don't want to play when they're healthy.
I mentioned the big guys, but also, like, would you be super shocked if, like, Tutu Atwell drops, like, 90 yards on them?
No. Who's their tight end? Higbee?
I think it's either him or, like, Parkinson. Like,
yeah, Higbee just goes for 80 over the middle for 10 catches, like, just goes. But I'm not going to go super confident on this. This is one of the low ones too. But I'm going the Rams, and I'm going by 4 points. That's how I see. Mark, what do you see?
I am going, like, I definitely listen. I went all in early in this board, so I'm just gonna play this one a bit safe. Definitely going with the Rams here, but I'm gonna go with the Rams for 1 point.
Maybe I should do the same. Yeah, I'm gonna go 1 point. I wanted to be confident for. I didn't feel confident. I want to go one because I don't want to see Popo's face.
I mean, 13, 12, 11, 10 are gone. So let's just.
If Minnesota wins, Coho is not allowed to be on the show next week.
I will put a little more on it. I'm gonna put 9 on the Rams.
Okay.
You make no sense.
But the Packers are winning this weekend.
Yeah, Packers 1 point, but they're winning. He's guaranteed to win there. But this game up in the air, give me 9.
I just want
crazy.
I just want it to happen so I can make fun of Coho next week.
There's only 3 of us, so the show was somewhat quicker. Not gonna save and chat and do all that stuff. We'll be back next week. Talk about all these games. Talk about whatever firing going on in the NFL, and then we'll be in divisional round. So, see ya next week.
Bye.